Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Live With It. I am Sarah Lane, and this is the show where the DTNS family of folks lives with a gadget, a service, a product over a long enough period of time that we get a good, honest feel about living with it. Some of it's good, some of it will be bad, and we're going to share our thoughts with you. Joining me today is Dr. Nicole Ackermans. Hi, Dr. Niki.
Hi, Sarah.
How are you?
I'm here and I'm excited to talk about cats with you.
Well, I am excited to talk about cats with you at any time. So this is extra fun. All right. So you've got a pet tracker that I'm not familiar with. So this is going to be a fun one. What do we got?
So I specifically went for Moggie because it's not a GPS tracker. Like you can get a GPS tracker, which is basically like an Apple AirTag for your cat. But I have indoor cats, so I know where they are. My question is, what are they doing while I'm gone all day? Are they running around? Are they sleeping all day? Are they doing unhealthy behavior? And so I wanted to look
or
around.
If you're sleeping at night.
Yeah.
You know, are they doing weird
running
stuff?
Yeah, running around at night. So I wanted to see like who offered this service. I landed on Moggie because they seem to be the most all-encompassing one. They didn't have, it wasn't subscription based, which was huge because I don't want to pay every month for something like this. I'd rather pay the upfront price. And it just seemed to be the most solid one for what I was looking for specifically. So I got DTNS to get on board and we tested it out for about 3 months. And so now I'm here to report back.
All right. So we've got the Moggie Pet Tracker, not subscription based, but what is that upfront cost?
The upfront cost is $149 USD. So it's pricey. There's more and less expensive ones out there. I think if you count the subscription, it's less than a, monthly $20 or $30 subscription over time. So that's where we're at with it. It's also a relatively new product. So I wonder if they might have some pricing changes along the line.
So what are we talking about exactly? Is it a collar for your cat?
It's a little like domino-sized hub that you Velcro to your cat's collar. And it also comes with this like hub that you plug in to a USB that's, I don't know, the size of a coaster. And that's kind of where it sends the data in your house and it's all Bluetooth connected. And so your cat runs around your house and jumps and eats and drinks and all these things. And it is using AI machine learning to relay back what these behaviors are, count how many it's doing a day and how this is looking over time, and potentially send you a message if your cat's been sleeping for more than it's supposed to sleep and it may be sick or something like that.
Now, you mentioned, jumping around, eating, drinking. Do you have to map out your house ahead of time so that it knows, the water bowl versus the food bowl type thing?
Yeah, this is the really interesting part. So it's not like a Roomba, and I actually kind of do this kind of research. So I called the team. They're actually super accessible, and we had a chat, and I was trying to get them to tell me without divulging their secrets about how they do this. So there's a gyroscope and an accelerometer inside the tracker, which basically means it's tracking speed and then like your position up and down and all that. So instead of saying like, here's the water bowl they're drinking, it picks up on the whatever repetitive movement that the sensor picks up on and stamps that. They have some training. I'm sure they train this on their pets at home, where they're like, okay, this is drinking, and they base it tracked on videos and things like that. And then use their machine learning to say, okay, this is generally drinking or not. They have issues with this, though, because cats are weird. Like, if you've ever interacted with cats, they said, they have one cat who lays on the floor while he's drinking, and that's not really how other cats do it. So it trips up the mechanism. So they've done a lot of research and troubleshooting to get to this and make it as user-friendly as possible, but the back end for them is like really heavy work. It seems like it's really interesting to me how they got around this.
Okay, so you have one cat or two?
I have two, and I tested it mainly on one just so that we would have like kind of a uniform long-term test. The difference between the two is I have one big cat, one small cat, and it's a little big on the small cat, but it's not as bad as I thought, and it doesn't seem to bother her. So
now, did your cats already wear collars before this?
They did.
Okay, so that would be one of the I have one cat. Hi, Ralphie, the cat, wherever he is in my house right now. He doesn't wear a collar because he's indoor only.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he could, but he doesn't. So that would be something that people should consider. It's like, you got to have a collar already.
You got to have a collar. And my big cat kind of likes messing with his collar, and he did like snap it off. Like he snaps his collar off all the time. So I had to tighten it a lot so he would stop doing that. And like he dropped his tracker a few times, and that actually leads into one of the cons, but that can be addressable, is that when it drops and there's no movement, it doesn't tell you, even though I know because I can see that he dropped his collar, but it continues the average of the data, and it says like, oh, your cat didn't do anything today for half the day. And I'm like, yeah, because the collar fell off. But I talked to them about this, and they're thinking about finding a way to fix it. I try to compare this to like the Garmin watch of cats, except it's not there yet, but that's what they're aiming for.
All right, so let's talk about the experience. It gets shipped, and at this point, you're choosing which cat you're going to monitor.
Yeah.
How did that all happen?
So the reason I wanted this in the first place is because my bigger cat, he's an orange cat. He's like 8 years old, and he's got urinary issues. So I wanted to, basically, every time I leave, he gets stressed, and then he maybe might get sick. And so I wanted a way to see if something could alert me to that, because it's kind of like a very quickly go to the ER situation. So I needed something that could track at least that he was going to the litter box a lot, or just like not moving a lot, and based on my like anxiety. So that's why I bought this. So that's the cat that I wanted to put it on. They're a UK based company, so the shipping was 2 weeks, but like that's to be expected from the UK. It has a pretty nice case. It's kind of like, reminds me of an iPhone case. And in the case, you get the hub and the tracker. And I don't know if you care about this, Sarah, but it didn't come with a brick, probably to make it international. But I like having an extra brick laying around to plug my USB, USB-C into. I don't know if you care about that.
I mean, yeah, no, I get you. Okay, so you've got the tracker itself that goes on the collar, and then you have to have the hub that's plugged into an outlet.
Yeah, or not even an outlet, just anything with a USB. Like you could plug into your computer.
Okay.
It's just USB-C. And then it's also, you can charge your tracker on there. The great thing about this tracker, probably my favorite thing about it, it lasts a whole month without charging.
Oh, wow.
That's great, because I forget about it.
Yeah, this is not a daily thing that you have to think about.
It's a set it and forget it, which is a pro and a con for me, but at least not having to charge it once a week is huge. And the fact that they got that into such a small size, I think, is a pretty big deal. So...
All right, so you've got let's call him a senior cat, and which I have one as well. And this is actually an interesting just kind of product segment for me, because my cat Ralphie has kidney disease. Yeah. So litter box activity is important, because
let's get into that, because that's not quite there yet. So the people working on this were nice enough to let me into the beta testing program. Litter box, eating and drinking are still in beta testing. Okay. So that's a pro and a con in the sense that I'm really glad they're developing it, but I really wanted that like as my first thing. What they are measuring is things like running around, playing. I think they have also in beta testing is scratching and itching. And I think they have sleeping in there and resting. So they just have like general activity levels. But like you, I really need the litter box like frequency. That's like one of my big red flags. But they are working on it, and I've actually talked with them this morning, and it's like in production. It's almost going to be made ready to the beta tester soon. So that's a good thing, I guess.
So at this point, without the stuff that's in beta, and it's cool that you're in the beta program, it's really kind of just like, here's what your cat did today.
Yeah, and it gives you daily, weekly, monthly recaps. It gives you like percentages. It uses an AI chatbot, which I actually like, to give you a once a week reminder of like, here's what your cat did this week. It's sleeping more than usual. You might want to check up on that. So I think that part is cool. The part that I don't like is that the data is medium trustworthy, I'd say. Considering what I see my cat do and what it reports, it's a little bit not aligned. It needs 1 week to calibrate, which is fine, and I understand how that works, but it also kind of made me lose the novelty of the product, because I just sat there for a week and I didn't get any data. But then the week after, it didn't take into account that the previous weeks didn't have any measurement. So it said like, oh, your cat isn't sleeping at all, because it did an average of the month. And I'm like, well, yeah, because there's no data. So it's not good at realizing when there's no data and doing something about it. Although that's a pretty easy fix. So I already told them that, and I think they're thinking about fixing it. But I like the weekly, like, your cat has been grooming for 1.5 hours this week. Maybe I want it to.
It's like screen time.
Yeah. And I'm like, do I care about this? Actually, I imagine if your cat has a skin condition, you would care about if it's like licking too much. I might want it to have like more active, like, hey, something's up. You might want to seek medical attention. At least I haven't had that because my cat hasn't had issues. I don't know if that's something that's in there. Really, it's a set it and forget it product, which is a good or a bad thing because like I've been on vacation while my cats have had this on and I forgot to check on it that it was there. But I've talked to some other users who have said, hey, I don't have to use a camera to look at my cats. I just use this app and I look at it every day. I really forget it's there. And that's a good thing. But also, then do I need it that bad? I don't know.
Now, I mentioned my cat Ralphie. He is an indoor cat, doesn't wear a collar. Just for reasons that are too long to explain, he got out a couple weeks ago, and he was outside in the dark for an hour. He came back. He's fine.
Scary.
Totally scary. Yes.
Yeah.
This is not a bad story, but I was freaking out. Would this have helped me?
No, because it doesn't have GPS location to it. I would say it would help you that if someone saw that, I mean, you should just have a collar with your address on it. I guess like that would be more helpful than this thing. If someone saw this on your cat, they would be like, oh, this obviously belongs to someone and has this on here. But I don't think maybe they could scan the QR code on the back and find you.
Right.
I don't know,
It's not an air tag.
Yeah. And I specifically like didn't need that functionality because, God forbid the cat gets outside, but otherwise they're around. So that wasn't what I was going for. And some of them have that also with it. I just didn't need it. So I didn't look for something that had one of those integrated.
Well, all right. So the Moggie is obviously, money up front, right?
Yeah.
Depending on your needs. This could be really, really good data for somebody who has a cat in a relatively small space, where there's repetitive stuff.
I mean, you could have this on an outdoor cat. It just won't track the distance, but it'll give you activity. I don't recommend having an outdoor cat because it's not good for the cat or the environment. As a biologist, I have to say that. But you could still use it on them. If they lose it, that's a bit of money that just went down the drain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. All right. So let's talk about your overall thoughts here. We've talked about the good, the bad. Would you recommend this to me or anybody else who's looking to keep better tabs on their kitty cat?
I would say, first of all, if you've got a bit of money to burn and you want to spoil your cat, then this might be where you go. If you have a cat that has health concerns and it's stressing you out and you want a way to ease that stress, this could be the answer for you. I have a second young cat who doesn't have any health concerns, and I don't know if I really want to buy this for her because I don't really care about the data until she gets sick. Maybe it can help me prevent oncoming illness. But I will keep an eye on the product because I can tell it's developing fast and it's got a lot of potential. So those are the two recommendations. Some of the other users have said, like, people who travel a lot, this really helps ease their mind, and it's a super easy thing to interface with. I found it clunky to travel with if you're traveling with your cats. I didn't say this before, but you need to like reconnect it to the Wi-Fi network and like reset it. It's kind of a pain. It's not the worst. It's not the best. My conclusion is it has a lot of potential and they're clearly constantly developing it, and it needs that development because it's a complicated project. The back end is complicated but cool. So I'm going to be watching it, and I will, if they like make some of the improvements and maybe change the price, I might pull the trigger for my second cat for one of these. So I don't know if you want one for your cat with the kidney concerns. If they take litter measuring out of beta and open it to the public, that might be something that you're like, if I can get an alert on him starting to do this and I don't need it to get to the emergency point, $150 is a lot cheaper than a $3,000 emergency vet bill, right?
Oh, you're telling me.
Because we both had those vet bills. So if you got to think about it in those kinds of contexts where it's easing your worry and also like giving you a heads up early ahead of time.
Well, Dr. Niki, thank you so much for bringing the Moggie to us. Not a gadget I was familiar with before.
Yeah, and I think this is a blooming market. I think we got to keep our eyes on it. I'm excited about the future of this project.
Yeah, if anybody has thoughts on pet trackers in general, feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com is where to send that feedback. But for now, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Live With It. Remember, if you enjoyed Live With It and shows like these, please remember we can only do them with your continued support for us on Patreon, patreon.com/DTNS. Until next time, I'm Sarah Lane, and you've been watching Live With It.